everyone. Welcome to this exciting webinar, which is a part of our Income Webinar series. My name is JJ Childers, and I'll be your host for this dynamic webinar presentation. Once again, welcome. I want to first take a moment to thank you for your time. I know that your time is valuable, as is mine. So my goal is that by the end of this webinar, you'll be able to see a clear path to prosperity. You'll have a clear vision of how to own your own time. What I mean by that is do what you want, when you want, and be able to afford to do it. Now, in fact, I'm going to start with a pretty bold promise. I promise that if you pay attention and follow the steps that we're going to lay out today, you can accomplish two important objectives. Now, first, you'll discover a financial opportunity that can put more money in your pocket and do it on a residual basis. Second, it'll give you more time to spend with your family. Now, that's our promise. More money to spend and more time to spend it. That's the goal of this webinar, so I promise you it's worth your time and mine. So, stay focused, get out a pen and paper to jot down any questions that you might have. You might want to even close the door to wherever you are right now. You might want to turn off your cell phone. Just put yourself in a place to be able to hear and see clearly. I'm going to give you just a second to do that. Go ahead, do it. Okay, thanks. Now, as we get through this webinar, feel free to ask questions in the chat box that we've provided. Our mentors are online and they're ready to answer any of your questions, so make sure you take advantage of this. Now, before we get started and before I introduce our special guest, I want to tell you how valuable the information that you're about to see is and how it can change your life. Now, to do that, I want to share some quick information about myself. Now, my background is that I'm an attorney. Specifically, I help people with asset protection. I even wrote the book Asset Protection 101 with Donald Trump. Now, I tell you that only to emphasize the fact that I understand fully the importance of getting, growing, and guarding wealth. On today's webinar, we're going to learn about one of the most exciting opportunities that I've ever seen for doing just that. Imagine building the type of life that you've always dreamed of having, controlling your destiny, calling your own shots, and doing the things that you want to do rather than the things that you have to do. Well, that's what this webinar is all about. Now, we're honored today to have with us a gentleman who is uniquely qualified to teach you exactly how to build this type of life. Now, the reason is that he's done it for himself and countless others. Best of all, he can do it for you. Well, our special guest today is my good friend, Jake Spencer. He's one of the most influential business leaders in this industry. He's been featured on The Apprentice with Donald Trump, and he's helped transform the lives of countless people through his dynamic leadership. Today, he's going to provide you with some incredible, valuable information on what I believe to be perhaps the most compelling opportunity that you've ever seen. But you know what? I'll let you be the judge of that. Prepare to be blown away. Let me introduce our special guest, Mr. Jake Spencer.
All right, you guys happy?
Yes.
Carla did good. She said that I've been in ACN for a while, and I have. I've actually been a part of this company for many years. I'm actually going to my 10th year, and so it's a pleasure to have her here. I'll talk about her here in a second, but more importantly, I want to welcome you guys out and obviously welcome all of our friends who are watching this, whether they're in their home or different county, state, and this is broadcast to different countries. And so we're excited to have you guys here to witness this because we're doing some amazing things in our company. And so before I go over what our company is about, I first want to tell you a little bit about myself because we have some very high-powered individuals, just like the individual who just brought me up, working at Microsoft, climbing that corporate ladder, being at the top of the chain, and making a very healthy multiple six-figure income like Carla was doing. She obviously saw the value of what you're going to see. Now, if you rewind years ago when I first saw this business, I wasn't fortunate enough to hear it from someone of her stature or basically her status financially. I was actually invited by my sister-in-law. And I don't know if you guys have family members who have tried some things, done some things. Where we come from, she was known as the lady who was always peddling a lotion, a potion, a pill of some kind. In fact, my sister-in-laws always would joke they would know what they're getting for Christmas based on whether that she was in Mary Kay at that time or Arbonne or Avon, right? And so when I came to ACN, it was a simple favor. She said, hey, come check it out. After 5 weeks, I finally did. Now I was really busy. Who in here is busy? Right? Most everyone's busy. And I was just trying to figure out if this was something that I could do. I knew it was business ownership, but I really didn't know if it was something for me. And so when I came to the presentation, I saw a video that was very similar to what you just saw. But let me tell you what really turned the corner and actually allowed me to really comprehend what was going on. I come from a family that's very, very, very large. There was 10 siblings. And we didn't really make a lot of money. In fact, I was in my hometown a couple nights ago, and I was telling the story, and people couldn't believe it, but I can remember specifically my mother balancing her checkbook before she would purchase food. She had to know exactly to the point of how much money was in her checking account before she bought groceries. I didn't even understand what an NSF fee was, and so I went to college, and Wells Fargo sent me a couple of them. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. I was like, what are these NSF fees? I didn't really know what was going on. And so when I saw ACN, I was blown away that they were going to allow me or anyone that I was in contact with to market essential services, not only where I live, but literally around the world. How many of you guys have turned on a light today, by the raise of hands? How many of you guys have used your cellular telephone? See, these are simple questions. And see, the majority of what we're going to go over tonight is how to position yourself financially to make a form of money called residual income, which is the most powerful way of making money in our world. And my first advice to people when they're getting involved in residual income is it helps a lot if you get involved in industries that people are already paying for residually. See, I think it's very refreshing, all of you guys who are watching this, that you're going to see something that you already know about. Where I've made my wealth on, me and my friends, where we've done very well financially with, we came to the same meeting that you came to, and we left thinking, wow, I didn't learn about something new. They're not asking me to spend money on things I don't know about. This is something that's extremely sufficient, and it's not an unknown. There's a lot of unknowns that we have when it comes to money, but when you're talking about big essential services like we have, it's pretty simple. So let's just go into our presentation tonight. And the first thing I'll talk about, obviously you saw in the video, our company has been around a while. We're actually now crossing our 20th year in business. We're doing extremely well. We're global. We're in 23 countries on 4 continents, millions of customers all over the world, and talk about opportunity, less than 1% market share globally. That's very powerful. We've been featured in some very, very, very high-powered publicized magazines that you guys probably know about. Inc. Magazine, USA Today, Fortune, Success. Even if you have never read those, who in here knows who they are? Right? I knew who they were because I was very fortunate to go play a lot of prestigious golf courses because I was a college athlete. And in private country clubs, and sometimes people will figure out that people who belong to country clubs, sometimes they have a little bit of money. Yes or yes? Yes. And so in college, when I started figuring out that the company that I was looking at was in the same magazines that were on the cigar table in the locker room, I got pretty excited about it. In fact, many of you guys have actually seen that we've been in Success from Home. We just featured in there again for the 8th straight time. You'll see those all over the internet. Go to Barnes & Noble, you'll actually see it, and the top paid people in our company are represented in those magazines. I would have never thought when I first saw ACN that I would have the opportunity to be documented for my success in there, but it sure helps. People ask, well, does ACN work? And I say, well, go read the magazines. You'll read about me and my family, and you'll see how successful we've been. Hear it from someone else rather than me. Let's go to box number 2. Box number 2 talks about the services that we offer. So as I read off these companies, a couple of them, if you pay a bill to any of them, whether you're here, whether you're online, or wherever you are, ask yourself if you pay bills to these companies. In fact, if you do, just raise your hand. If you pay a bill to Sprint, Verizon, T-Mobile, DirecTV, Dish, Comcast, CenturyLink, right? Everyone pays these bills. Now, some of you have caught on to the fact that this slide alone tends to bring so much credibility into our presentation. Who in here would agree that you're going to be paying these services for the next 10 years? Right? How about 20? In fact, let's have a little bit of fun here tonight. Right? Who in here is the oldest person? Women always laugh, men always raise their hands. We have a woman. How old are you, ma'am?
68.
She is 68 years old. Is there anyone older than 68 here today? All right, we had a winner. How old are you, ma'am?
70.
70? Anyone older than 70?
I'm old, but I'm not saying.
That's what girls say, sir. Are you 72?
75.
75. Anyone older than 75? Well, here's my point, okay? A lot of people have gotten caught up in the success that me and my friends and partners have had in this company. When if you just boil it down to its most simple element, it's just kind of a no-brainer. 75 years old, sir. How long have you been paying for these services in your home?
Forever.
No, be more specific, please.
13 years with Comcast, and I just changed over, saved $100.
Okay? I'm asking years, though, for your phone.
How many years?
Yeah. 30, 40?
Oh, yeah. Since I was 20, started school.
So if he's 75 and he's been paying it since he's 20, what is that? I'm from Idaho, so I can't really do math. 50 years? 55 years that he's been paying these essential bills. And he'll probably continue to pay them until he passes away, unfortunately. Now what's powerful though is we get paid off of these things that you all know about before you came here. That's pretty cool. And there's a couple on there that you may not know about. What about Zoom Energy? You know, there's well over a dozen states in the U.S. who have already deregulated the monopolies in the area for power and gas. If you have friends in any of these states, you can actually call them up and see if you can give them a competitive rate on who they're paying their utility bills to. I have customers in Texas and New York who are now paying their utility bills, power or natural gas, through us instead of the monopoly. See, no matter where you are, or you're in Utah, or you're in Idaho, or you're in New Zealand, most people aren't in love with the monopoly who provides their power. They don't have any emotion. They want a choice. The other one on there that's very powerful is a company called Inovia. Inovia is a company that is a merchant service company that allows you to go to people who take credit cards in their business. Who in here has ever used a credit or debit card to purchase something before? Who in here used one today? See, more women raise their hands than men on that one. I'll get you. Right? Well, what you need to know about the merchant services industry, the banking department of our business, it's over $7 trillion a year. So once again, boil this down, 21 years old, there has to be some blaring, obvious reasons why we've been successful for 10 years. These industries have never seen a recession, and they never will. Banking, $7 trillion just on the merchant side of everyone's credit and debit card. See, those machines that you swipe to pay for your goods, the owner of that company that you purchased or whatever you swiped for, they pay a fee for every single time their customers use those. One of my dear friends who I'll be working with, he actually owns a very large company, and his fees every month are over $40,000. Just to allow customers all over the world to buy his services or product. So therefore, $40,000 goes out of his bank account monthly, so he allows us to use his company and buy stuff with our plastic in our wallet. See, we have the ability to go to companies like him, which we did, and we saved him quite a bit of money. A couple $1,000s a month off of those fees. It's very amazing when you think about what we're getting paid on. I think that there's an opportunity here for each and every one of you, no matter whether you want to make a couple $100s a month or a couple $1,000.
We got started in the business about 9 months ago, and fears, lots of them. Okay, I don't even know where to begin with fears because I've never run a business. But the thing I was really worried about was the sales part of it. But as I learned, there's no sales. You don't have to do sales. So that's what I love, to be able to, not have to do that part.
I'd say my greatest benefit, I thought it would just be about work, and I came in to find a job and it was completely attached to my soul. This has changed every single relationship that I have. This has changed my bank account. I've just moved to Utah. It's changed my zip code. It's changed my life. It truly has.
Wow, thank you for sharing. Now, next, Jake is going to pull back the curtain on some of the competitive advantages of ACN. He's also going to show you how to own your own company. In fact, how to own your own Verizon store for pennies. He's going to show you how to generate recurring income while you buy back your time. You're going to want to pay very close attention.
Now what's powerful though is we get paid off of these things that you all know about before you came here. That's pretty cool. And there's a couple on there that you may not know about. What about Zoom Energy? You know, there's well over a dozen states in the U.S. who have already deregulated the monopolies in the area for power and gas. If you have friends in any of these states, you can actually call them up and see if you can give them a competitive rate on who they're paying their utility bills to. I have customers in Texas and New York who are now paying their utility bills, power or natural gas, through us instead of the monopoly. See, no matter where you are, or you're in Utah, or you're in Idaho, or you're in New Zealand, most people aren't in love with the monopoly who provides their power. They don't have any emotion. They want a choice. The other one on there that's very powerful is a company called Inovia. Inovia is a company that is a merchant service company that allows you to go to people who take credit cards in their business. Who in here has ever used a credit or debit card to purchase something before? Who in here used one today? See, more women raise their hands than men on that one. I'll get you. Right? Well, what you need to know about the merchant services industry, the banking department of our business, it's over $7 trillion a year. So once again, boil this down, 21 years old, there has to be some blaring, obvious reasons why we've been successful for 10 years. These industries have never seen a recession, and they never will. Banking, $7 trillion just on the merchant side of everyone's credit and debit card. See, those machines that you swipe to pay for your goods, the owner of that company that you purchased or whatever you swiped for, they pay a fee for every single time their customers use those. One of my dear friends who I'll be working with, he actually owns a very large company, and his fees every month are over $40,000. Just to allow customers all over the world to buy his services or product. So therefore, $40,000 goes out of his bank account monthly, so he allows us to use his company and buy stuff with our plastic in our wallet. See, we have the ability to go to companies like him, which we did, and we saved him quite a bit of money. A couple $1,000s a month off of those fees. It's very amazing when you think about what we're getting paid on. I think that there's an opportunity here for each and every one of you, no matter whether you want to make a couple $100s a month or a couple $1,000s a month. Most of the friends that I'm running with are featured in that Successful magazine. It's obviously a lot more than a couple $1,000s a month. So let's go to box number 3. Box number 3 talks about our competitive advantage. Okay? We don't spend any money in advertising. What it comes down to for those carriers is customer acquisition. That's why our company's been around for so long. So you may ask, what's in it for Verizon? Well, my question to you is, why is McDonald's still expanding their stores? Why haven't they stopped? See, they want more customers too. So does Verizon, and so does Sprint, and so does DirecTV. That's why they're giving you access to their departments to own a micro franchise to acquire customers. They want more customers. They want new customers. They want to retain the ones that they already have. It's a simple process that comes down to customer acquisition. And if we can take these services to people that we know, belly to belly, a warm market approach, they're not spending the high cost of advertising to do it. So it's a win-win. Many of you, when you see our websites and our prices, you're going to see some very competitive rates. You're going to see some distinct advantages, features, products, things that make it a wise decision for people to shop through you to get those services. But for the carriers, it's even a bigger win. Because they're getting customers like my grandparents, like my brothers, who've been using Verizon for many years. And just like when I want to build a home or do a real estate transaction, I go to family because they're in those industries. My family and friends come to me because I own those companies. Why wouldn't they? If my grandma knows that I can get her a Verizon phone, why would she go to the mall? She has no emotional tie to that kid, but she has an emotional tie to me if I can get her the same product, the same Verizon brand, the same Verizon coverage, the same Verizon cell phones, and I'm left out of all the billing and collecting, so she's talking directly to them. The credibility is always there. So let's talk about how this works. In box number 4, we're going to talk about getting started in our opportunity. Okay? So first off, who in here thinks it's a good idea to get paid every single day that someone sends a text message? Would you say that's pretty smart? Who in here thinks it's a good idea that when our customers in Dallas or those multiple states are taking a shower, you're getting paid for that? Right? Isn't it amazing that when someone wakes up, the first thing they do is they check their cell phone? You can get paid for that. The next thing they do is they go to the bathroom and flip on a light. You get paid for that. The next thing they do is they go out and cook their breakfast. You get paid for that. They log on the internet, check the email, you're getting paid for those things. They turn on the TV to watch the news, you're getting paid for those things. They go to the gas station or wherever convenience store, they use their credit card, you can get paid off of that transaction. All these things are happening around us every single day. So what I want to talk to you about is how to set up your own store, your own business in ACN for well over 20 years, as they've positioned it to where you can buy your own ACN store. Now, at 21 years old, this wasn't a big stumbling block for me, but when I learned that ACN was $500 to buy that store, I wanted to know what I was getting. Well, here's what I got. In 2004, I paid $500, and you can see on that screen there's a website. Those of you who join us tonight, wherever you are, you'll get the same website that I've had for many years. In fact, it looks the exact same. The only thing that's different is mine has my name at the top of the license number and yours has yours. Very simple, very cookie cutter. Now, what you get though is everything that that slide says. It's hosted and updated by all the companies in our ACN business, not you. Meaning you're not allowed to bill or collect, provision, install satellites, flip power switches, ship out cell phones. See, what you can do though is you can send customers to that site. And you can actually teach other people to do the same thing. See, it's a great idea when you think about sitting down as a 21-year-old thinking, well, my biggest excuse I'm going to give this gentleman after this meeting was I didn't have time. See, many of you guys think that my biggest excuse was I didn't have the money. No, $500, that really didn't shock me that if I wanted to own those businesses, it was only $500. I actually was shocked that it was actually really cheap. Is anyone shocked that if you want to own a Verizon store, it's $500? Right? Now, if I said, hey, come to me and my partner's burger joint and we're going to give you a burger for $500, that would probably not be a good deal. But a business, that's a really good deal. Now, the individual who was up here before me, I was going to tell you a little bit about her. She obviously knew a little bit about business and the cost of getting involved in businesses. In fact, many of you who are watching this here or in a different state through our video here, you're probably a part of some business or have seen some before. Everyone always asks me, they always say, why is it that businessmen and women are the first ones to join our business? Because see, traditionally, the cost of barrier to this business is so cheap, but in traditional business, it's so high. Coupled with the high cost of traditional business, there comes risk. Employees, overhead, attorneys, leases. See, in ACN, none of those things exist. See, I'll tell you, about a month ago, I had a neighbor of mine that I didn't even know. And because someone referred her to my ACN store online, she logged on, went to my store, looked at my pricing, and she converted her phone, TV, and internet. And she was able to renew 3 of her Verizon wireless phones. Now, when she came and explained this to me, I said, well, thank you. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you for becoming my customer. And for the longest time, she didn't even really know what was going on until DirecTV came to her house 2 days later and installed the satellite. Within a couple of days, the high-speed internet carrier in our area came and installed the new modem and drilled a hole in her wall. See, she couldn't figure, it's like, this is amazing. I got these services from you because you own the companies, but I've never seen you come to my house to do anything. I said, don't worry, you never will. I'll never bill you, ma'am. I'll never collect. See, that's when I started really catching on why ACN was powerful. Because my biggest excuse for time was actually thrown out the window. I realized all I was really doing was referring people to that store. And the better that I referred people, the more money I was going to make. The more money I was going to make. In fact, put this in your brain and think about it just for a second. Who in this room has ever used any travel site, Expedia, Travelocity, Kayak, any of those sites to book a hotel room or travel? Now those companies like Travelocity, they're doing well over $1 billion a year. So who in here would pay $500 to get a portion off of every single flight that's purchased today off of Travelocity.com? But see, you're probably figuring out if you've ever used those sites, Travelocity won't even refund your money. When you go to the airport, Travelocity is not there checking you in. When you go to the Bellagio to check in, they're not at the hotel either. They're not doing any of those things. It's a basic one-stop shop, convenient way to shop, compare prices with the biggest airlines in the world, and that's all ACN is. It's a one-stop shop on your website where people can compare, shop, renew, do what they need to do, and people are doing that anyway. Let's show you the next thing. In box number 5, it talks about how we make money. Now, it's okay if you don't know, because I'll tell you a secret. At 21 years old, I was grateful that my mentor asked me if I knew what residual income was. And I flat out told him, I said, I do not know what residual is. He said, do you know what linear income is? I said, no, I don't. Well, he explained to me, he said, well, how do you make money? I said, I work a couple of weeks, I then turn in my hours, I get paid for the hours, and then I press reset. See, I've later learned through reading a lot of different books and studying people who make great amounts of money that well over 90+% of the world makes money on the linear side. So who in here has a job by the raise of hands? Many of you would agree that your job is a good thing to have, correct? But see, let me tell you something that I learned about working. I was raised in a very small farming community, so I was raised to survive. When I was handed a bill or something I had to pay, I knew the way that I would pay that bill would take time away from what I wanted to do, trade it in for dollars. Who in here can take the rest of the year off, not report to your job or your company, and be in the same position financially or even potentially better? Very few. But see, all of you guys have known for a while, how is Elvis still making millions of dollars a year? How is the Michael Jackson estate still feuding? Why is it feuding every day? Because those family members want that money. It's still producing millions of dollars. See, residual income is money that you get because you've done something in your past. This gentleman just admitted that he's been paying these services for over 50 years. Isn't that amazing? 50 years. How many of you guys would like to acquire a customer one time and get paid when they paid their bills for 50 years? That's what our potential is in this business. So every single time that you refer someone to your store, as you can see on our slide, you make between 1 and 10% of their services. And the only thing that determines the 1 to 10 is how many personal customers you've referred. It's very simple. So if you've referred roughly 20 to 25 customers, you're going to be at or around 10%. And I'll tell you what a customer is. In my house, I have over 10 customers. I have 6 cell phones on my family plan. I have DirecTV. I have home security. I have 2 home phones. I have Comcast high-speed internet, cable internet. Each individual service counts as a customer. Many of you guys have gone out and got 20, 25 customers in 4 or 5 different homes. Some of you have gotten 10, 15 customers just in one business alone. It's really powerful. I like the sound of that. And see, I started thinking differently when I started learning about residual money. See, I'm not afraid to admit, I'm not the sharpest guy here. I know there's people in here that have so many degrees and titles and master's degrees. Like, you're so smart. Like, I am impressed. It's humbling to be teaching you about money. It really is. However, when I was explaining how residual income worked, I started catching on to a couple of things. First thing was, at my age, I would basically put a price tag through hourly work. I want a pair of shoes. I would say that's 12 hours of work because I get paid $10 an hour. I want a pair of jeans. I was going to college, $150 pair of jeans. You can guess that was going to be 15 hours of work. Well, people are like, where is he going with this? Well, you're no different. Because I've seen newlyweds. They sit down, they want to purchase their first home. And you have your budget, and your budget doesn't include the extra $300 that the mortgage is going to add into your life, correct? So what do? Men, you say, I can either pick up another job, or I can send my wife out into the workforce. Part-time, spare time. You take time away from what you want to do, what you love to do, the things that are fun for you, the things that are passionate about. See, you're chasing the almighty dollar every day because that's the way that most people attain it, is by giving their time. See, what residual income really does is it buys back your time. And it doesn't take that much money residually to buy back one's time and to really start making a difference in someone's life. Now, who in here likes the sound of residual income so far? Good. Let me show you the second way that we make residuals. You can actually build a team of representatives in our business. Now, at 21, I guess I was naive. My mentor said, who do you know that wants to make money? And I said, who doesn't want to make money? I said, the wealthiest people that I know, they're always wanting to make more. And the brokest people I know always want to make some. He said, so let's just make a list of people. So in a meeting just like this, very small, 5 to 10 people came to my house, and you can see on this diagram where it says Team You and then 2. My first 2 people actually came to this meeting, and I was hoping to acquire them as a customer. They saw the value of ACN, and they flipped the table on me. They wanted to join my team. The presenter did such a good job explaining the value of ACN that my mother and one of my college coaches joined ACN. That's how I got my first 2 partners. Now it's been a decade. In the early days, we showed those 2 individuals how to acquire some customers. It was over 10 years ago about. We've made 0.25% off of those customers. The next number is 4. My mom found 2 and that coach found 2. This example is nothing more than people going out and tagging 2 people. There's people in this room and they've been in ACN for a couple of days. There's people watching this that have been in ACN for a couple of days. And they already have their first 2. There's people who've been in for a couple of days and they've already had 10 people join their team. Now that shouldn't be shocking to you because we're talking about big companies and residual income off of things that people pay for 50 plus years. It makes sense. The most highest skeptic I've ever seen said, this is something that I could see myself doing. I would love the fact I could offer services to people that I know and they're not going to avoid me the next time that I come in contact with them. See, I'm the bold guy. I like the fact that my neighbors still shovel my walk when it snows. And my neighbors have never seen the presentation. They've never even seen ACN as a business. They have just become a customer of mine. See, they don't avoid me. They say hi to me. Because I help them, I put them in a better place. I even save them a little bit of money on those bills. I didn't show them the business because actually I don't want them in the business. I love coming home and no one talks to me about the business. Because no matter where I go, people will be like, hey, I want to make money like you. Well, come to the meeting. It's kind of nice, you know, when going home and people just know me as the guy who is the money saver. I'm going to go shovel Jake's walk because he saved me $100 a month off my TV and internet. Makes a lot of sense. Who in here knows people that are overworked and underpaid? You might want to start your list right there. Who in here knows people who are really savvy in business? There's another good spot to start your list. In fact, I've learned in the almost 10 years I've been doing this business that the people who have been traditional business owners who have had tastes of money in their life are the first ones who really fall in love with box 7. Because the leverage principle of building a team and getting paid the highest percentages for the people who build the largest teams. Look, it's not rocket science. We can even put numbers to dollars here. Let's just take 2 down to 128. That's about 250 people in your team. Now this is just a hypothetical. And if you actually looked at it, those 250 people, if each one of them just went and got 10 services or 10 customers, and let's say the average customer that we used for this example was a $40 bill. You know, after doing that example and timing it out with those percentages from 1/4 to 8%, that's $5,800 a month of reoccurring residual money that you wouldn't have to work for each and every month. I'd clap too. Now, when I first saw ACN, I didn't think it was possible to make $5,000 a month from things that you did even 2 days ago, but 3 years ago. Let me ask you a question. 2020, who agrees that the year 2020 is going to come? Right? I say this because I talk to my friends all the time. They say, man, how do you do ACN so well? How do your friends do ACN so well? I say, it's common sense. I'm like, just think about it. I was invited to a meeting just like you guys are tonight. Just like you. I sat in the same seats. Now, I don't know why I was skeptical because no one ever came to me for financial advice. Because I owe people money. You know what I mean? I was that friend that you always hated. So I dropped most of my skepticism because I knew when I saw ACN, in my bank account that night, there was $75. Woo! I'm the guy you warned your daughter about. You know what I mean? I was wealthy. Top ramen. I was a college kid. Now, let me tell you why this is crazy. Because a couple of weeks ago, I just got paid again off of customers that I acquired in March of 2004. 2004. They paid me again. And the 3rd week of September, guess what? I'll get paid off of that work I did in 2004 again. And not just 2004, but 2005, 2006, 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, and even work I just did this week, I'll get paid for. And 1 year from today, I'll get paid again off of all those years of work. And you're thinking, well, 2020 is going to come. Well, what are you doing to set yourself up for some financial stability? Maybe even some financial relief. Because I didn't think of financial, like, complete wealthiness, or I was thinking, man, some financial relief, not financial independence, that's what I could relate to. So I thought $50 a month was powerful to me. And some of you guys don't think that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money to me. Do you know why? Because if you had $50 a month coming in, let's see, that's what, $600 a year? Some of you haven't even got a raise of $600 this year. Some of you, I met a nurse today, she hasn't even got a raise of $600 a year for the last 5 years straight because they've been on a freeze at their hospital. And you're not excited about $50 a month? Man, when I was raised, that would go a long way. I told you guys this last time we had this talk. Men, you know where I'm going. You hope every day when you reach in your pockets, there's some cash in there that your wife didn't take out of your pants. You know what I mean? And you know what it's like? We're only talking about $50 here. In fact, we'll leave you at $58. Isn't that the best day ever? You just reach in there like, man, there's some money in there. I wonder how this got past my wife. And you put your hand in your pocket, and you start looking at the floor like, what's the honest thing to do here? I could turn this money over to her, or I could put my head down and just walk by her like nothing is wrong. And then she asks, well, where are you going? Oh, nowhere. Nowhere. And then you're like me, you go golfing because there's no trace of where that money went. That's the one thing I hate about plastic, is she tracks me. You know what I mean? Isn't it amazing what you women have in that nose of yours? No, we can have a little bit of fun. The reason being is you guys don't need tens of thousands of dollars to see the value of our business tonight. I remember when my residual was $58. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I'm not ashamed to admit to you, I remember when it was just $100. And I drove a Honda Civic for free up on campus. Yeah, people tease me. They gave me lots of negative, oh, you're doing ACN because you drive your car free. Like, yeah, I drive a Honda for free because I did something last summer and they keep paying me like it's a free car. Like, I thought it was very cool. Like, I got in the car and every time I pushed the gas, I was like, free. It's awesome. Free. You know? And it was the coolest car. Like, I had to get in the passenger side. But you know what? Those same people that didn't think this was a good idea, when I changed it for a different car, my first European car, while I was still on campus, no one ever came to me and said, oh, how's that business doing? Because I would have said, how's your Honda doing? I graduated from there. That car is free. I don't make a payment like 90+% of the world does for the automobiles. Because I did something, remember? I did something last year. And I'm still getting paid for that because he pays it for 50 years. It just made sense to me. Now, today, $5,800, you know, in ACN, some days that impresses me, and I'll be honest with you, some days it doesn't. Because you guys are going to have the opportunity through many trainings and opportunities to meet people where their residual income is a lot larger than that. A lot larger than that. And some of you have residuals that are like $500 a month. The point that I'm getting at is all of us could use some residual money. Because 2020 is going to come. So why not do something today that potentially you could get paid on in 2020?
Now, that is some powerful stuff. Jake just revealed the awesome power of recurring residual income. Think about it. Why not get paid 50 years for what you did last month or last year? That's how the wealthy stay wealthy. Now it's your turn. Take a moment to consider what you would do with an extra $500 to maybe $2,000 per month. How would that change your life? How would that change your family life? How would that change the financial conversations in your home, maybe around the dinner table? How would that impact your finances on a day-to-day basis? Well, I'd like to invite you right now to sign up and form right here. Let's get you started on the path to success. Now is your chance to change your financial situation and gain control of your own time. Now, if you have any specific questions, make sure to send us a quick text, maybe with a chat box. We're here to help you make an informed decision. Well, now let's hear from a couple of ACN business owners while you take the time to sign up.
The time freedom, because real estate economy has been really tough, I found that I didn't have any time, from 2008 till 2011, just prior to seeing ACN. I worked 60, 70 hours a week, and still owning my own business, that was nice. I wasn't answering to an employer, having to go to work at a certain time and get off when I was told. However, because it was my own business, I had to work very hard. So 60, 70 hours a week, very common. In ACN, it's given me my time freedom back. The income has been incredible, something obviously that we have enjoyed, but the time freedom has been better. We have 4 kids, they're older now. My daughter dances, my boys play competitive sports, they're on travel teams, and so we've been able to do those things with them again, coach their sports again. It's been absolutely incredible, and I'm time motivated, not so much money motivated.
I'm just a normal guy, and I had a normal job about 18 months ago. I was the guy waking up an hour early, going to work in rush hour traffic so I could get there on time. And one day one of my kids asked me if I could go on a field trip. And I wanted to do that. I told him yes, got to work, realized that I really couldn't if I was going to be loyal and a responsible employee. And so that kind of woke me up. And the thing that I have now is that time. I now wake up an extra hour early, but not to go to work. I make my kids breakfast every morning and send them off to school. The financial freedom, the stress of not worrying to pay your bills every single month is a huge relief. And we've actually been able to go on some vacations and things last year that we would have never done without ACN. One of my biggest concerns when I started ACN was wondering if someone was going to be there to help. The individuals that I heard it from, I didn't really know. And one of them had Texas license plates, so I wasn't sure I was going to see him again. So I was very concerned about that, and I have found it to be completely opposite of what I was worried about. Every step that I take, Mr. Cotter takes 2. I can't outrun the guy in the business. So he's been there coaching me, mentoring me on the things I need to do, and he's always been there when I needed help.
Wow, thanks for those great success stories. Next, Jake is going to show you how to expand your income and grow a financial legacy for you and for your family.
Box number 8 shows you our positional money in our business. Because you should know, ACN knows, and the leaders know, that residual income, it takes time to build. Like I told you, my first check, I'll tell you, after 4 months, was just over $12. And I was excited about it. Some people were, some people were. That doesn't matter. Because that just proved that the system that I was doing worked. Because my brother was never willing to pay me any money for the previous year's efforts after I filed taxes. I wasn't getting paid anything after I did my tax. Like, oh, they're still paying mortgages for those houses, brother. We built that house. Why don't they pay us 1% of their mortgage? They're going to pay that for 30 years. But that's not the way we got paid in construction. We got a one-time check because we worked hours. So what I love about ACN is I could come out of the gates quickly and make some pretty good money in bonuses. And it really helped me because I stayed excited because I started making money in my very first month. So the first thing we do is we're actually going to sit down with you. And we're going to help you get trained in our business. The first thing, your first step, is you want to become qualified. Now, it's nothing more than really getting 3 services referred. So I'll tell you, my neighbor who actually got onto my store and did her services in her home, did TV, phone, and internet, and 3 Verizon phones. That was 6 services. You just need 3, and you're qualified to start earning money in our business. All right? The next thing that we're going to help you do is we're going to find 2 people that you think can do the same thing that you just did. Go tag a couple of people. So for me, my first 2 were mom and coach. We have many people in this room who are executives. In fact, if you're an executive team trainer, can you please raise your hand? Right? We have many people. And you're thinking, yeah, I found 2. I made a list and a couple of people came to a meeting and I found 2 people. Those 2 people are copying you and you are now an executive in our business. And the bonuses go from $100 to $3,000. Now every ETT doesn't max out at $3,000 a month. That's why it says $100 up to $3,000. Some ETTs make $1,000. Some ETTs make $500. There's ECTs here tonight who would agree with that. They'll tell you their first month, they were able to bonus out a couple $100. Some will say a couple $1,000. But that's pretty good for a business, and you can do this in your first 30 days. Some people have done it in just 3 days. The next paid position is executive team leader. You want to go assist 3 friends of yours to become an executive. I remember when I did this. I looked at it and I said, okay, I got to go get a couple more customers. That's pretty simple. So I went and got a couple more customers. And then I thought to myself, all I've got to do now is help 3 people become ETTs. For me, it was my mom. I found her 2 partners from her work. My coach found 2 professors at our college, and my friend, we found 2 other friends. I quickly started figuring out that if you could just help people, assist them in helping them through our compensation plan, you're going to give yourself a raise by default. And the more people you helped, the more money you made. It's amazing. If you're an executive team leader, can you just please wave your hand so everyone can see? That's amazing. We have people who are involved in real estate. We have college kids here. We have people who are businessmen and women who have been in business for many years. The point that I'm getting at is this is a duplicatable, simple system. Let's go to the next paid positions. Here's some positions that you guys may want to learn. Team coordinator, you can see our monthly potential can go from $500 and it can go up to $25,000 a month. We have the regional director position where the bonuses can go from $1,000 up to $30,000 a month. We have the regional vice president position where it's increased residual income. And bonuses can go up to $50,000 a month. And then the senior vice president position. So what I'm getting at is I may be like some of you thinking, well, that doesn't seem possible to me. That's okay. Because you eat an elephant one bite at a time. There's people in this room who have already attained those positions. My partner is with me tonight, and we have already became regional vice presidents. We have friends who are senior vice presidents. And many of you guys have seen these individuals. You can see them on our website, so you can actually interact with them in these type of settings. But the point that I'm getting at is when I was in college, those type of numbers, that type of potential were never mentioned to me. Look, I'll tell you flat out. If I could have became a team coordinator, I thought in my mind, and like, look, if I could just make $10,000 a month as a team coordinator, I was going to be happy with that. Heck, if I could make $5,000 a month as a team coordinator at 21, that was more money in a month than my parents made combined. That was really powerful to me. Now, I'll tell you, I didn't even pay attention to this part in the meeting when I first saw it. I was so excited to go find a couple of people and get them to this presentation. That's what I was thinking, like, I need to know what I need to say to get people to come listen to this. That's what I wanted to know. I wanted to know that. I was excited. I didn't need to know any more about ACN because I knew someone was going to do this business. And if I didn't do it, it was just going to continue to grow. I had to walk out of this meeting and still pay these bills. See, some of you haven't even been able to go this hour of this meeting without looking at your cell phone. And you're not even a doctor. You're not even delivering babies or anything. You're not even saving anyone's life. And we can't even go an hour without looking at our cell phone. You know who you are. I saw you. And one of you have done it 10 times. They have 2 behind the camera. The person in Michigan, he's looked 10 times already tonight. Thinking, when's this going to be over? And just completely forgetting the fact they're watching this through the internet with lights on in their home, texting while they're doing it, telling their friends about what's going on, and they're going to use these services for 50 years just like this gentleman did. That's the question, do you want to get paid on it or not? I told this story, I'm saying, and this guy said, well, what did your parents think about ACN? I said, I don't know. I showed my dad the presentation, and he said, you know, $500 isn't that much money. It's like, that's a pretty cheap learning experience when it comes to business. So I took it as, why not give it a shot? So let me tell you what's going to happen if you fail. You're going to be in the same position you already are. I figured out I'm going to go to school for another 2 years. I failed in ACN. I'm still going to school. None of you got fired for being here tonight. So it wasn't like you missed out on something for coming here. So you can see in your mind how this model could work. Because people come to the meeting, we present the business, they decide one of 2 things. They want to join up with you. They want to become a partner, a member of ACN, and start making money like you. Or they say no to the business and they just want to become a customer source.
Doesn't that just get you excited to experience the thrill of financial success? The opportunity to fly while you earn your time back. Now is the time to quit trading time for dollars. You're worth so much more than that. I'm sure inside that you believe that, or you wouldn't still be on this webinar. Sign up right now during this webinar, and we'll lead you to our invitation-only mentoring system. Sign up now for ACN. It costs $500 to Google and storefront for cell phones, energy, security, cable, satellite, and so much more. Literally, pennies on the dollar to be able to Google and storefront. Coming up, Dave's going to share some information on how we surround you with support when you commit to making this financial change in your life. Let's hear from some people who are now living life on their own terms because of the support and coaching that they've received.
Just having a coach and a mentor actually sit with you and do the calls with you. And then as it became repetition, each day it became a habit, and then actually became a lot of fun.
I had a friend call me one day and talk to me about coming and introducing me to this business. That's how I got started. My biggest fear in this business was fear of failure. I didn't know if I could do this on top of what I do already.
Which is?
I'm a landscape contractor for the last 18 years. You know, plugging in my mentors, the training and support I get from my mentor that I met, and he trains me literally every day. And in the beginning, it took me, you know, I stood back for a month and watched, and it never changed. They were there every single step of the way, every training. They call me, they text message me, they want to know where I'm at, what I need, and what they can do to help.
Once again, that is great stuff. Now let's go back to Jake for more of this incredibly valuable information.
It's my favorite box of the whole presentation. Because at 21 years old, I needed support. I needed to know what I was doing. I needed to know what I needed to say. I needed to know how I needed to act. I needed to know where I needed to be even. I was a mess. But I saw this system and I actually got really excited. I saw a series of trainings that I could go to, both personally and online. I got a mentor's phone number within a matter of seconds after I joined the business, and the first minute after, I actually sent him a text, and he returned. I'm like, this is what I needed. I'm actually really excited. See, the training is what's going to connect all the gaps for every one of you guys. And we're actually going to be doing a training here in a couple of minutes. But I want to ask you guys a couple of simple questions. Nothing hard. Nothing hard at all. 5 years ago. Can you remember 5 years ago? What's changed in 5 years? Do you have less time with your family and your hobbies or your passions, or less time? More or less? Less. What about your money? Now, some of you guys are realizing that your personal philosophy with money, you're doing rather well. And I commend you. But the masses are not. They're either at the same position that they are, and some of us are unfortunate where we're actually making less money. So it's a double-edged sword. So what's going to change 5 years from now? See, at our level, in our world, we don't get bailouts. That's for the big companies like GM. We don't get those things. Our bailouts come from people like my sister-in-law inviting me to a meeting when I was 21 years old and me taking a chance. And you know what? That's all any of us ever really need, is a chance. No one's ever claimed to be not successful because of empty pockets. No one's claimed that. And you know, and I know, you've seen some of the most successful people who have come from bottom with nothing to show for what they have when they started something, and now they're at the top. That's what happened to me, and that's what happened to my partner who you're going to be listening to. I know for a fact he put his $500 on a credit card. He had no money. So it wasn't about the $500. It was about a desire to have more and become more. And all I needed was a vehicle. Some of you are laughing because a lot of us in this room, we like cars. Who in here likes cars? Right? It's awesome. Who in here over here likes cars? What kind of cars do you like?
Lots.
What?
I like lots of different kinds of cars.
Lots of cars? What's your favorite car?
My favorite car is 68 Camaro.
68 Camaro. That's a pretty fast car.
It is.
Really fast. So here's my question. Let's pretend that we're at a stoplight. I'm in my Honda Civic from college, and you're in the Camaro. And we race to the next spot, like the next light. Who's obviously going to win? You are. Well, what happens if we switched who's driving the car at the next light? I get in your car and you get in mine. Who's going to win the race?
This girl. I'm just kidding.
Me, huh?
Yeah.
See, what I learned when I first saw this whole thing was the training that I got was the vehicle that I needed. See, there's a lot of talented people here who are talented drivers. There's nothing wrong with a Honda. It's going to get you where you want to go. It's very reliable. But there's also nothing wrong with wanting a Ferrari or a Mercedes, because they're going to get you there just a bit quicker and maybe even enjoy the ride a little bit more. Right? Because if someone said to me, do you want to go on a 5-year journey on the road in a Honda Civic or a Cadillac? I'd take the Cadillac. And if someone said, Jake, you can even go on that 5-year journey and shrink it down to 2, because the individual that I'm going to be introducing you to, he's going to let you go on that journey in his jet. I'm going to take that every time. See, I learned it was about the vehicle. It wasn't about the driver. It was about the vehicle that each and every one of you have chosen. See, you took a risk choosing what you've done. You took a risk even coming here tonight. And you'll take a risk even getting involved in ACN. But really, why not? What do you really have to lose? Haven't we all learned something from what just happened in our economy? Isn't it about time that we actually take people's advice and have a plan B? What if something happens again? Maybe this vehicle is as good as I'm promoting it to you, because you're still going to go home tonight and pay those bills. So I want to welcome you all into our team. We're going to break the room for about 2 to 3 minutes to allow you guys to join. Get your website up and going. You can do it on someone's phone. It'll be harder for you to name your store than it will be to sign up. So just choose something that's easy for people to refer, so you can acquire customers off your store like I have without knowing about it. We're going to have my partner come up here in about 2 to 3 minutes.
I want to thank you for spending the time to share this incredible opportunity. I want to reach out to all of you who just signed up. Welcome aboard. Welcome to a future empowered with financial freedom. Time to do more rather than your boss. Next, I hope to quickly introduce you to John. He's our coach and mentoring guru. He's going to walk you through the process of how to support you in the explosive growth of your new business.
Hi, my name's Steve Frame, and thanks for being with me today. I'd like to give a shout out to JJ Childers and also to Jake Spencer, and thank them for spending their valuable time with us to teach us the secrets of success in their ACN organization. What a great and valuable opportunity it is to spend time with guys that are both 7-figure earners that are coming to you live and helping you in your own home and in your own world prove out and use the system that they've used to achieve success themselves. I also want to share with you why performance coaching is so important. I'm a human and an organizational performance coach, which means I help individuals and businesses with rapid, substantial, and sustainable sales growth. Not unlike what we've done with Vivint, who is a partner now of ACN. When we were first invited to come and help them with their sales system there, they were installing about 1,100 home security systems a month. After 14 months of working hand in hand and closely with them, helping them be accountable for leading indicators, they raised those numbers to 4,400 installs a month, which is a pretty solid advancement. That's what we're here to talk about today, is how we can help you with human performance as it relates to business with ACN, and look forward for the opportunity to share with you the secrets of Jake's success in his ACN organization. What we know about this business opportunity as it relates to coaching is there's 3 distinct reasons why people need help from a coach. Number 1, Very few people, according to our research, know exactly what they want out of life with great amount of detail. Number two, those people who do know in a general fashion what they want out of life, most of them don't know how to get from where they're at to where they want to go. And number three, this opportunity will provide you with a vehicle for you to realize your unlimited potential only if you can perfect the mental tasks of living in the present and being really task oriented. So we're going to spend a minute talking about the fundamental tenets of our coaching program and what the 4 parts of coaching program mean to you and why they're going to be so key to your success. Since you've already spoken with and heard from Jake Spencer, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about the underlying difference between high performance and mediocrity. You probably recognize these words on the board: discovering the unlimited potential with ACN, the power of the residual income, and a reputation of integrity and service to others as the fundamental tenets that make ACN different from every other company. But I'd like to go a little bit deeper and talk just briefly about a formula for success that we've created within our coaching program, and I think this will resonate with you. First, I'd like to write this on the board: the 10-80-10 rule. Okay? I'd like to first talk about 10% of the people in our population who are never going to find happiness or healthiness or success as they age because, and you all know this to be true, there's one in every family, these people can't take responsibility for their own actions. Thank heavens we have clinical help for them, because you know what, really at the end of the day, if you can't take responsibility for your own actions, you probably are going to be spending time on a couch talking to someone about problems from your past. One other thing that we know is that 80% of our population, according to research, is going to, as they age, they're going to be happier and healthier, but you'll notice that the slope of this line is very gradual. We call these people as those who have an avoidance tendency. We also call these folks the mediocrity majority because they are focused on what not to do. In slide number 1, you'll notice on what not to do, these are the people who are focused from their youth on the things that they shouldn't, couldn't, and wouldn't do. These people surround themselves with coaches who tell them all day long, don't let your guy go baseline, don't get beat deep. I want to talk to you about some of the underlying scientific principles behind our coaching and how you can be successful. The very first thing that I want to draw your attention to is this equation on the board: potential plus work minus distraction equals high performance. And I want to talk about this in detail, slow down real quickly. Potential, we all have potential for greatness in something. And it's up to us to figure out what it is that we have great potential in. I think we can all agree that we've got to work hard if we want to go anywhere in life. The bigger challenge becomes, how do you eliminate the D, which is the distraction, otherwise known as interference in your life, so that focus will allow you to lead you to high performance in life. One of the challenges with this particular equation, potential plus work minus distraction equals high performance, is helping people know and understand the difference between an outcome orientation, which we call ego orientation, and task orientation, where you're focused on executing the task at hand. In working with a coach and in working within the system that Jake Spencer's outlined, one of the things you're going to see and understand quickly is if you want to act and think like the wealthy, you need to also start to model the behaviors that they have, which is to become singular of mind and focused on what is the task at hand that you need to complete and not being worried so much about the outcome anymore, okay? The second part of this equation is that if we can help you become task-oriented versus outcome-oriented, for the first time in your life, you're not going to be feeling fear, guilt, resentment, and frustration that comes from past events, and worrying and having fear about things that come in the future, because you'll be able to be focused squarely on the present. You know that as the rich go, so must you go in terms of modeling their behavior. Their ability to stay focused, clear, and present in the moment is what allows them to be so successful in such short periods of time, while other people struggle going back and forth between past and future, past and future.
Thank you so much for attending today's webinar. We promise that we can make you discover financial opportunity with more money in your pocket and do it on a residual basis. And we promise we'll show you how to put more time growing your new business. Now it's up to you. On behalf of Jake and Steve and all of our ACN support team, I want to thank you for your time. If you still have questions, please email us at the email address on the screen or text us through the chat box. We sincerely